Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episodes of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The first one was called Duel with the Devil, and as it starts, Lonnie gets kicked off the football team, and Pearl grills him about what he's been doing, and he tells her he had to put his family first. Nico denies being annoyed by Harry being at the movie at the end of last week's episode with her and Peter, and Peter invites her over to his place after school to hang with him and Harry before being added to Pearl's lab partner team in science class. Lonnie and his brother argue about what Lonnie's been up to. At Peter's place later, the kids bond and struggle with the operation of a VCR at their hang, while Norman attends a charity event where he talks with General Ross about helping to rein in rogue Avengers and tells him about being behind Spider-Man. He then calls Peter to get him to investigate a security breach at Oscorp. Lonnie almost gets run down by the lady from the rival gang. Nico and Harry bond over Nico's tarot cards, and Harry spills Peter's beans, telling Nico that he's Spider-Man. Peter discovers that Daredevil, voiced by Charlie Cox, has infiltrated Oscorp, and they fight, and Daredevil knocks Peter out after telling him that Norman is up to something. Norman later tells Peter he's been looking into the weapons Peter encountered previously, and that he knows Doc Ock is behind it, and that he thinks Ock is behind Daredevil's appearance. Nico confronts Peter about being Spider-Man, and it turns out that the rival gang lady tracked Lonnie to the gang's hideout when she almost ran him down, and we see that Dr. Octopus has upgraded the Scorpion with some equipment. The next episode was called Scorpion Rising, and as it starts, Peter tries to make amends with Nico, but she rebuffs him, and he ends up talking with Pearl about it, and she confides in him about her sadness over Lonnie before Lonnie's brother reaches out to Pearl to talk. Peter and Norman determine that Dr. Octopus is probably using gamma radiation in the weapons he's making, and just after they do, a gamma radiation outbreak occurs. Harry visits Nico at home and ends up taking her to lunch so they can talk, and he asks her to forgive Peter, but it doesn't go well. But then he gives her a driving lesson, though I'm not sure why he's driving as a high school freshman or at most a sophomore, but there you go. All while Spider-Man tries to deal with the gamma radiation situation. Nico and Harry end up getting taunted by some lady miscreant, which leads them to street racing each other to a Nico victory. Pearl visits Lonnie at the gang HQ to confront him, and he rebuffs her just before Scorpion shows up and goes nuts, and ends up being confronted by Spider-Man. Nico and Harry decide to be friends, and she calls Peter, who finally gets the better of Scorpion, though only temporarily, and Peter ends up having to deal with him after having run out of webbing, which leads him to getting pierced in the back with Scorpion's tail before Scorpion punches the crap out of him. Just before he's about to kill Peter, Norman sends the Goblin Glider in and rescues Peter as the gang headquarters goes up in flames from an explosion. The next episode was called Tangled Web, and as it starts, Peter recovers in an Oscorp hospital wing and learns that his suit has been totaled before going home and having to explain to May what happened to him to cause all his wounds, causing him to break down a little bit and confide in her somewhat about everything he's up against. A SWAT team confronts Dr. Octopus, but it doesn't go well as he uses his octopus arms against them, though he wasn't wearing them at the time, as well as other tech that he uses against them. This allows him to make his way out of the building unscathed, but he's then confronted by General Ross, more troops, and Iron Man, voiced by a Robert Downey Jr. sound-alike. Peter wakes up from a nightmare about Scorpion before trying to talk to Nico on the phone, though he ends up only being able to leave a voice message before Pearl calls him and says she wants to meet up with him for schoolwork. And just after he arrives, Lonnie shows up, and he and Pearl talk a bit, but they don't see eye to eye, and Pearl breaks up with him. She then goes back into her house to discover that Peter has left to confront Lonnie, but Peter finds himself rebuffed, causing him to seek out Mr. Osborn, who tells him that the reason he got beat by Scorpion is that he's been holding back, and that he shouldn't be. The gang meets in an alley where they meet up with who would seem to be the Unicorn's crewmate, though he's wearing a mask, who tells them that who they're really after is Dr. Octopus. Peter and Harry talk about how Peter needs to step up if he wants to get Mr. Osborn back on board, and when an alarm goes off about a situation in the city, Harry reveals that he's made Spider-Man a new suit based on Peter's designs that he had seen, and of course, it's the classic spider suit. And that's where that episode ended. So I continue to like this show. I want to say again that the animation just blows me away. I know people don't like it. They say it's rough and choppy, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing very stylized animation that's really cool and that has the feel of a comic book in motion to me, or a comic strip in motion. That's what I get from it. I think it's super cool. I continue to like the voice acting by this cast. I continue to like the depth that these characters are given in the writing. I continue to like just everything about this show. Daredevil showing up and being voiced by Charlie Cox. How do you not love that? So it's just really, really good stuff. And, I can't say too much more without just repeating myself. Either things that I've already said just now or the same things I've been saying every week for the last 3 weeks about this show, which is that it's just excellent. And I can't wait to watch the penultimate episode and the season finale next week. And I'll definitely be back to do a video breaking down and reviewing those episodes once they're released. I'm going to get out of here for now. I'll be back with another video soon. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.